So, after driving this EV, which is praised for its excellent value, I've naturally become more interested in the G80 electrified model, the most expensive and luxurious domestic electric sedan. So let's take a closer look at this G80 electrified model from an EV owner's perspective. Now, this model is a facelift, not just an annual model update. So, while you might expect a lot of changes, looking at it from the front, there don't seem to be any significant differences. The previous model's plate was blue, as it was an EV, but now it sports a green license plate since it's prioritized as a corporate vehicle. However, this grille unmistakably highlights its distinction from the internal combustion engine model. And if you look closely, the bumper design has also been changed a bit. And the charging port used to be in the front, right? I heard that previously it was a manual process, but one of the most significant changes made to the front is that it's now automatic. It opens and closes automatically, and it definitely feels more luxurious now. But if you close the fast charging port, only it closes. To close them all, press the top and they close simultaneously. I really appreciate these intricate details, and I think the design elements are quite impressive as well. Oh, and the headlamps, similar to the G80 facelift model, now feature the MLA headlamp, and I wonder if it has a frunk this time. Well, there's just this cover, but still no frunk. Alright, but moving to the side profile, something feels different. Just looking at the side, it almost feels like a G90, not a G80. It's 130mm longer than the previous model. It definitely appears more extended than its predecessor. Most of that added length has been dedicated to the second row door area. Also, the doors have the feature we first saw on the G90. It also incorporates a convenient automatic soft closing function. Also, the opera glass here feels a little bigger too. And the detail down here with the two lines adds a bit more of that Genesis feel. And although the steering angle isn't very wide, the rear wheel steering system helps this lengthened body navigate U-turns and tight alleyways more easily, assisting with directional changes. The tires installed on this vehicle are the Michelin Primacy Tour AS model. The size is 275/40R19 in the rear and 245/45R19 in the front. Moreover, this wheel design has transitioned to a dish type, and it now presents a wheel design that really complements the vehicle quite nicely. Since the body is longer, the changes to the front and rear aren't as noticeable compared to the side profile. The upper part is almost identical, however the lower bumper design has changed quite a bit. This chrome line is utilized more boldly. Regarding the trunk, because it's an electrified model and the second row seats are power operated with both reclining and sliding capabilities, they don't fold flat. This does result in a slight reduction in trunk volume. However, given the vehicle's substantial overall size, it still provides a generous amount of usable cargo space. And the ski-through feature opens from the inside, so you can easily load long items such as skis into this area, utilizing the space effectively. And it additionally incorporates some further storage capacity underneath. You also have the V2L adapter right here. Plus, on both sides, these mesh nets provide additional storage space for your convenience. Alright, let's check out the interior space while we take it for a drive. Okay, let's get this facelifted G80 electrified model out on the road. However, as soon as we hit the road, it's rush hour, so I won't be able to really push the car and drive freely. However, when you think about it, getting stuck in traffic like this is an everyday situation that you frequently encounter. Therefore, the driving performance and feel in such conditions would also be crucial, I believe. So, in this kind of stop-and-go traffic, despite being an EV and thus heavier than the regular internal combustion G80, you can still experience a remarkably agile and lightweight sensation when accelerating and braking. It's remarkably quiet even when stationary. However, electric vehicles, even without an engine, typically have some electronic component sounds. But with this G80 electrified model, those electronic noises are almost imperceptible. I have the AC on the lowest setting right now, and even the climate control is remarkably quiet. And of course, the front door windows are fitted with double laminated acoustic glass. Even though this is a sedan and not an SUV, it's still quite a large vehicle, yet it does an excellent job suppressing wind noise. And I feel it's especially adept at blocking out tire and road noise coming from underneath. The G80 electrified model is 5,135mm long, 1,925mm wide, 1,480mm high, with a 3,140mm wheelbase. Its battery is now 94.5 kWh, an increase from the previous model. The single charge driving range is now 475 kilometers based on the combined cycle. so while the range has increased, the maximum power and torque remain the same as before. It has 136 kilowatts in front, 136 in the rear, for a total of 272. Torque is 350 front, 350 rear, totaling 700 Newton meters. It weighs 2,355 kilograms, and its combined efficiency is 4.4 kilometers per kilowatt hour. The post-charge info here shows 5.4 kilometers per kilowatt hour, meaning real-world efficiency exceeds certified ratings. And compared to the exterior design, which hasn't changed much, the interior design has. The layout itself has been significantly updated. The screen is now a long, single integrated unit. Consequently, the dashboard design and layout have also changed. The steering wheel design has been updated, and the center stack's climate and media controls have changed too. Also, the gear selector dial has some minor detail changes. It also includes a UVC sterilization function, and you can use these paddle shifters to adjust the regenerative braking and set I pedal. As for the I pedal, it's not the 3.0 version that recently debuted in the EV3. It seems to be using the same previous version, so now I'm currently driving in level 1. You can change the drive mode by pressing the button located below the cup holders. The basic modes are Eco, Comfort, Sport, My Mode and Snow. If you press and hold it, it switches to Chauffeur mode. Because the Chauffeur mode is designed for the rear passengers, the responsiveness of both the accelerator and brake pedals is specifically calibrated to ensure the utmost comfort for those seated in the back. So, even if I press the accelerator pedal deeply, there's a slight delay, not just 1 beat but about 2, before it really takes off. This setting is designed to prevent discomfort for rear passengers caused by sudden lurching movements during instantaneous acceleration. In comfort mode, it accelerates quickly and instantly like this. Furthermore, in sport mode, the responsiveness of the pedals becomes noticeably more sensitive. However, that doesn't mean the ride comfort itself becomes overly stiff and uncomfortable. Even in sport mode, while there's a slight feeling of increased firmness, the overall ride quality remains quite comfortable and pleasant. And the interior materials which envelop the cabin are also quite luxurious, offering a very satisfying experience not only visually but also tactilely when you actually touch them. The sound system has also been upgraded from the previous Lexicon to a Bang & Olufsen. These days, in high-end vehicles such as this one, while driving performance and materials are crucial, the sound system also plays a significantly vital role. The option of selecting the Bang & Olufsen sound system unquestionably amplifies the sense of luxury even more. Additionally, this refreshed G80 electrified model has added active sound design. There are primarily 2 options, Horizon and Heritage Black. And if you dislike both, you can simply turn them off. Heritage Black, living up to its name, provides a virtual engine sound reminiscent of a traditional internal combustion engine. Horizon, on the other hand. This one, on the other hand, provides a more futuristic and immersive experience, almost as if you're cruising in a spaceship. You have the flexibility to select it according to your personal taste, or simply switch it off entirely. In my case, I feel Heritage Black is a bit better and more suitable. And it's not just the performance and ride comfort. The overall driving dynamics themselves feel incredibly smooth and refined. It's evident that this refresh has made the car much more polished than its predecessor. And despite the car's length being considerably extended, the ease of handling during driving maneuvers hasn't diminished in the slightest. The rear-wheel steering doesn't have a dramatically large turning angle, but it certainly enhances overall driving convenience by turning in the opposite direction at low speeds and in the same direction at high speeds. From a driver's standpoint in the front, the ride comfort, driving performance, and overall driving dynamics and convenience are all quite satisfactory. Therefore, I will also check out the driving experience in the second row of this G80 electrified model, which has an extended wheelbase and even a chauffeur mode. Next, I also sat in the second row. Thanks to the increased overall length and wheelbase, sitting in the rear, especially compared to the front, truly gives off a strong G90, not a G80 vibe. Still, there's a definite class difference compared to the G90. Even though the wheelbase figures aren't drastically different, the legroom, specifically the knee space, in the G90 does seem to be a bit more spacious. However, that's only in comparison to the G90. For a G80, the legroom is quite generous. So when we were pulling out at the parking lot earlier and it smoothly navigated that corner, I thought, I found myself wondering, am I really in a G80 right now? And this car also comes equipped with the rear-wheel steering function. While that rear-wheel steering feature might be more beneficial in tight alleyways or when maneuvering out of a parking garage, as we saw earlier, you can perceive the operation of that rear-wheel steering function much more directly when seated in the second row compared to the first row. So the driver will need to handle this with a good deal of smoothness and care. When changing direction and returning the steering wheel, the sensation of the rear wheels moving could potentially cause some discomfort for the second row passengers, if not executed smoothly, I thought. It felt like my hips were moving slightly, just a little bit with each turn. Still, it's better to make the turn in one go like this than having to back up and do a 3-point turn. The knee room is quite generous. However, the foot space beneath the front seats, which are set to their lowest position, is not as spacious. This is primarily because, being an electric vehicle, the battery underneath not only elevates the seat position but also constrains the overall footwell area. The top of my foot is just about touching, but since the car's legroom is so wide, it's not a huge problem. And as for the headroom, with me sitting here, my head is just about to touch the ceiling, almost, but not quite yet. And in this vehicle, you can also adjust the seat electronically, just like this. This is the most reclined position. This is the most upright. Oh, my head doesn't touch even in this position. And when you recline it all the way to its furthest point, it creates quite a comfortable and relaxed posture. It even has a sliding function. Wow, this seriously gives off such a strong feeling, almost like it's a G90 model. Oh, and the sound system, as I mentioned previously, is equipped with the renowned Bang & Olufsen system. It's not just the spacious interior, but also the premium materials that truly elevate the sense of luxury, making it a perfect example of what a top-tier domestic electric sedan should represent. Wow, the second row ceiling is also soft-lined. The controls for the rear seats are on the side of this center console. There's a rest button and a button to return it to the original position. Even the headrest is power adjustable. And this headrest is padded with such a soft cushion that it feels incredibly luxurious and comfortable. You'd seriously want to buy it separately to put in your own car. Now, this particular model doesn't have a sunroof, but it does have vanity mirrors like this. Oh, and while there's a slight hump in the middle, it's so minimal that it doesn't really bother you. However, with a car of this type, it's usually preferred to lower the center console rather than having someone sit in the middle, even though it can be raised. I feel that operating these various buttons on the console while it's lowered is more in keeping with the vehicle's character. There's even a dial here, and over here you have a wireless charging pad for your smartphone, and inside there's a small extra storage compartment and 2 USB-C ports. And the ski pass-through feature is designed to open from the inside, like so. From here, you can also control not just the heated seats, but the ventilated seats as well. Furthermore, this massage function also offers 2 distinct levels of operation. And the button to close the door is located right here. Additionally, behind each of the front seats, you'll find a dedicated screen. From back here, you can access all the entertainment features we previously saw in cinema mode up front. I actually think it's even better viewed from the rear seats. Likewise, Netflix, YouTube, Watcher, and even TJ Karaoke are all accessible from here. Furthermore, both the applications and the rear climate controls can be conveniently operated via touch input. Simple operations can also be selected using this included remote control, and this backside, with its soft, suede-like material, certainly elevates the sense of luxury. And for such a car, second row ride comfort and quietness are paramount. Even in the default comfort mode, it still provides a remarkably smooth and comfortable riding experience. In fact, the damper stroke feels even longer than the internal combustion G80. And it seems to softly absorb and smooth out the transmission process of such shocks. And could you press and hold the drive mode button for me? If you press and hold it, it switches to chauffeur mode. It does feel a bit smoother after switching to chauffeur mode, but if you're a sensitive person, the increased smoothness might actually make you feel more movement. So personally, I think this chauffeur mode could be a bit polarizing, especially if you're someone who prefers a plusher, cushier ride. But despite what I just said, the car's overall ride comfort is exceptionally smooth and luxurious. And in terms of quietness, the noise suppression is outstanding. Sometimes when you're in the second row, you get noise coming from the rear, but since this is an electrified model, there's no exhaust noise. And naturally, even the second row windows are fitted with double glazed acoustic glass, significantly improving sound insulation. Despite the vehicle's considerable size, it remarkably excels at effectively suppressing wind noise. Therefore, the comprehensive quietness experienced in the second row is quite exceptional, and I believe this truly enhances the sense of luxury in that particular area. And the sun visors on the second row doors are power operated like this. While there are certainly changes in the front row, this car, in particular, makes the scope of these transformations feel much more pronounced when you're seated in the second row. Most importantly, with the increased overall length of the car, I know I've said it a few times, but in terms of space, it almost feels like you're in a G90, not a G80. Right, and besides, there's no electric model of the G90 right now. So ultimately, it seems to me that this G80 electrified model stands out as the most luxurious and lavish domestic electric sedan currently available on the market. As for the price, this test model comes in at around 100 million won. Lately, with each new car launch, prices have been steadily rising, but recently EV sales volume has somewhat decelerated due to a certain chasm. Perhaps due to this, the G80 electrified model's price increase is quite modest compared to the ICE version. Given the car's nature, it will likely be in high demand for corporate or government use, but I think it's an electric sedan that would be fully satisfying for personal use as well. They've really enhanced the battery capacity, extending the driving range significantly, and even lengthened the car's overall length, thereby expanding the interior space. It will also be quite interesting to observe with keen interest the significant impact this G80 electrified model, which has also had its second row doors updated to power-operated ones, will have on the electric sedan ecosystem.